All right, welcome back to Find Music. We are still finding music, and this is episode 487, getting dangerously close to 500. We might reach there by the end of this year, if my calculations are correct. And of course, one way we do that is by having a leadoff man, Mr. Fred Whitlock. Batting first, Fred Whitlock.
This summer, I discovered Steve Cropper has a new album out. Famous legendary guitarist from the 60s who backed up so many soul people, and he played in Booker T and the MGs. Mojo magazine ranked him number 2 of lead guitarists behind
Wow.
Jimi Hendrix. Uh, in 21, he came out with Fire It Up, and now he's got his new album out called Friendly Town, Steve Cropper and the Midnight Hours. This is a great soul album produced by John Tiven, and he co-wrote some of the songs with Cropper, and it also features ZZ Top's Billy Gibbons. And it's a solid album, soul album. It doesn't break new ground, but the songs are great. It's kind of R&B, swamp rock.
Is it instrumental?
No, he's got a
Okay.
lead vocalist on it. I was going to mention Roger Reel on vocals, and he handles it quite well. The vocals the other guests on it is Simon Kirk shows up on drums on You Can't Refuse. Brian May shows up on lead guitar and actually sings lead on Too Much Stress. It's at 82, he's got the great ability to just keep it going, and the music is great to listen to. It's kind of a party album. If you like that R&B, soul music, rock, you'll like this album. I quite enjoy it. Another album in the soul music business is a box set of Isaac Hayes's Hot Buttered Singles, 1969 to 1972. Now, this is a great collection that just came out. If you're just getting into Isaac Hayes or you never heard him, this is a great place to start. It's all of his singles. It has some rare singles that were never on albums. It's a great box set. I think you can find it streaming also. It contains all his A and B sides of his singles in one collection. Like I said, it's a great place to start if you're not don't have the experience of his music. This is a great place to start. Some of the singles are edited down, of course, from the 12-minute or 8-minute cuts that he made on albums. Maybe this will bring you back to looking up some of his albums and listening to like a 12-minute version of Walk On By. I saw Isaac Hayes open up for Led Zeppelin at the time of their Zeppelin's second album, and it was an incredible show. And this is, like I said, this has got great super soul sound. It's the first album that contains all the singles in one place, and a great place to start for beginners and maybe just to catch up on Mr. Hayes. Then I discovered a female artist who had an album out in last year or so. It's called Giant Palms is the name of the album. I hope I pronounce her first name right. NAIMA BOCK. Naima. And she is an emotional singer. She's Brazilian, Greek, and works out of London, I presume. And she was once in a group called Goat Girls. I guess, was kind of a harder rock group, and she decided to go softer with her sound. She's got a touch of the samba background in some of her stuff. It's very this album, Giant Palms, her first album, is emotional. It's a breakup album. It starts out gently, but it's got over 30 instrumentalists on the album backing her up. It's a touch of folk rock, like I said, samba, uh, and even in some cuts, a bit prog and ambient type sounds coming up and drifting around. I liked her stuff. It gets spacey and a dim dum, and every morning, great cuts on this album. And it's subtle, but it's a celebration. And then her latest album is called uh, Below of Massive Dark Land. Below on this Massive Dark Land. And starts out with a gentle song called Gentle. And the songwriting is just growing. She's an incredible songwriter, I've found, and she has a knack for melody, and she's backed up by collaborators. It's 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 a aching album about a breakup and how she gets through it. And the final songs are just her on guitar, and it gently ends with two great cuts. So I would suggest looking into this woman. She's got a great career ahead of her. And then recently, I've read through this book twice, Running Up That Hill by Tom Doyle, 50 Visions of Kate Bush. And the basis of the book is a very lengthy interview he did with Kate Bush. If you're not aware, she kind of withdrew into her private life from the pops rock scene. She doesn't really get involved in that at all anymore. She's had, as the book points out, with interviews on TV and shows she's been on, it's just wearing on her, and most interviewers never really understood her or how to approach an interview with her, because her songs from the very start were very strange. She started out at 16, 17 years old writing her first album lyrics, and David Gilmour discovered her and played guitar on her demos and brought them to EMI, and she recorded the album with the hit record Wuthering Heights. Every one of her songs, or most of her, 90% of her songs, she sings in a persona. So you have to figure out who she is in the song to understand the song. And a lot of her ideas come from books. And so they're very literary. The book is 50 chapters, some of them very short, and it really gets into a recording. Some reviewers of this book said it was a little exhausting the way he wrote about every recording session she did, but I found it exhilarating, and I listened and re-listened to every one of her albums. And then as I was listening to the albums, I went back to the chapter on that particular album, how she recorded it, who she recorded it with, and the process she went through. And you can understand why it took so long between albums to come out, because she's a perfectionist and she takes quite a few years. She hasn't come out with a new album in over, I think, since 2015, maybe. So And she said in the interview right away, people miscall her a recluse. She isn't a recluse. She just wants to live a normal life as a normal person, not living a life as a pop star. And the book gets into not only her albums, but her concerts, her videos, how she made the videos. And then it's got a chapter on all the cover songs other people did of her songs. And of course, of the year that Running Up That Hill became a #1 hit after 20 years, again, because of the TV series on Netflix, Stranger Things, played that song. It became a #1 album almost in every country in the world. And she made over $2 million just from that year from that song, again, becoming
Wow.
a #1 hit. But she could have followed it up with a new album, which she didn't. So
Just to
people are waiting, but there's fans out there that are holding these festivals in her honor, dressing up in red dresses or red shoes and having these wild festivals together in her honor. Um, there's also a chapter of all the people that did cover songs of hers. And it's just a great book. I found it. And the interviews, not only with her, there's interviews with some of her collaborators. And as you know, she recorded with Peter Gabriel, and he shows up on one of her songs. She recorded with Prince, which I didn't know. And she's on one of his songs on one of his albums, and he sent tracks back to her. Clapton shows up on an album, of course, Gilmore, and even Elton John. So I recommend, if you want to discover Kate Bush, read Running Up That Hill. It's a wonderful insight on the woman and a great biography.
um two things. Also, the band Placebo covered Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill. I didn't even know they did that because you're right. When Stranger Things blew up that song, right? I just like, whoa. And then my wife told me, did you know Placebo covered that song? I'm like, they
Oh,
did?
wow.
And I didn't know
Yeah.
that. So she's like, listen to it. I'm like, I listened to it and I'll go, wow, now I'm conflicted because which one do I like? Kate Bush or her? I mean, or Placebo. Second, um, when you said that it's there's a bit of a correlation between her and Bjork. Those two women are the most interesting humans and above all very strange when it comes to their music because you're right, they want to live a normal life, and I guess that's why they both equally decided to stop even doing interviews to the press because why do they continuously have to explain themselves to anybody?
Yeah.
Like even like one example, Queen, a Bohemian Rhapsody. Freddie Mercury wouldn't till this day he wouldn't even say what does it mean. It's a mystery. You don't take away mystery. Let the listener come up with whatever they think it is. Just like with Kate Bush or Bjork, what does the music mean to them? Well, you figure it out. She's not. They're both not gonna figure. They're both not gonna tell you. So that's it.
Oh, that's really it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Then I better not let anybody know. It's not in the book, but I secretly dated Kate Bush in the early 80s, but
Oh,
that'll have to be in my memoirs. Okay.
oh, some juicy stories.
Yeah. Actually, it was a Kate Bush lookalike.
Ah.
But still,
Oh.
it'll be in the memoirs. Okay.